Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the City of Milpitas Economic Development and Trade Commission special meeting. Today's date is Thursday, January 20th, 2022. Can we believe it's already 2022? The time is now 4 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order and let us begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. At this time, I would like to conduct a roll call. Nicole, take it away.
Thank you, Chair Norwood. Starting with Chair Norwood.
Present.
Vice Chair McNeil.
Present.
Commissioner Mundra.
Present.
Commissioner Dariani.
Present.
Commissioner Jones.
Present.
Alternate Commissioner Fan.
Present.
And Student Commissioner Stephen Wang.
Present.
And I'd like to note that alternate Commissioner Fan will be seated in the place of the vacant business representative seat as Commissioner Rice is absent today.
Awesome. And I'd like to welcome our alternate commissioner and also our student commissioner. Welcome to the City of Milpitas Economic Development and Trade Commission meeting. At this time, the item on the agenda number 4 is seating of alternatives. Of alternates.
Yes. Alternate Commissioner Fan will be seated in place of the vacant seat business representative in lieu of Commissioner Rice today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time on item number 5, I'm looking for approval of the agenda for January 20th, 2022.
Motion to approve agenda.
I don't think we caught that.
Motion to approve agenda.
We have the motion.
I second it.
Nicole, you choose.
Oh, Chair Norwood, I see a raised hand from Director Andrade.
Yes, Mr. Andrade.
Norwood, thank you so much. I'm going to ask for a change for you to consider on the agenda. We have the Chamber of Commerce item update going first, but that was because last week we had that item as the 4th item.
Yes.
We were under the impression that Commissioner Mundra would be leaving us early today, but he's indicated that he can stay till 5. We believe this will be a 4 to 5 p.m. Meeting. So if you don't mind, and the commission, can we move item 9A to 9D? I think it is. It would be the last item, or 9D.
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve agenda with moving of 9A to 9D with that modification.
I second it.
We have a motion and we have a second.
This point of order is just, never mind. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
This is, so we have that, Alex. So now, if I'm not mistaken, because we are still virtual, there's a roll call vote.
Okay, starting with Chair Norwood.
Yes.
Vice Chair McNeil.
Yes.
Commissioner Mundra.
Yes.
Commissioner Dariani.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Fan.
Yes.
And Commissioner Wang.
Yes.
And I'd like to bring the attention back to the vice chair as far as the point of order request.
Yeah, I think you were probably going to mention it for item 6. I was mixing the two, and you will probably mention that, so I'm probably overstepping my ground, but those who were not present at the November 8th meeting should abstain from approving minutes from the meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So we are now on item 5. I think we just did approval of the agenda. Did we do the approval of the agenda?
Yes, that's right.
And do we have, and then now we're on item 6, approval of the minutes. And as Vice Chair mentioned, if you were not in attendance at that meeting, and Nicole, if you can let us know if anyone here was not in attendance of that meeting, that would be helpful because that was so long ago.
I'll save you. I wasn't.
Okay. So Commissioner Jones not in attendance. So is there a motion to approve? Is there a motion to approve the minutes? I believe I heard Vice Chair McNeil.
Yes, so just also the new alternate and the student commissioners were not at that meeting, I believe, as well. So, but I make a motion to approve the minutes from the November 8th meeting.
We have a motion and a second, and all those that can. Nicole, do your thing.
Okay, starting with Chair Norwood,
Yes.
Vice Chair McNeil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mundra,
Yes.
Commissioner Dariani.
Yes.
I believe the others abstain.
Yep, that's right. And the others will abstain.
Okay. Do we have to have them do that, or are we automatically going to do that for them?
Oh, we could do a verbal abstain. Commissioner Jones,
Abstain.
Commissioner Fan,
Yes.
Commissioner Wang.
No, Commissioner Fan, you have to abstain.
Oh, right.
Sustain.
Okay.
And Commissioner Wang.
I abstain.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
We are now on item 7, the public forum. Oral public comments may be provided live during the commission meeting by first registering for the Zoom meeting in advance by providing an email address, which not will be disclosed, and a name.
Chair Norwood,
Yes.
oh, sorry. There are no raised hands for public comment at this time.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Moving right along. On agenda item 8, announcements, 8A, EDTC commissioners. I had some instructions on that. EDTC commissioners. Announcements. Do we have any announcements from any of the commissioners at this time?
There's none.
No.
Yep, seeing none, announcements from the city council liaison.
Good afternoon, everybody. I would like to announce and just encourage this particular group and each commissioner to please join us for our next council meeting on Tuesday. It's going to be a very important meeting in regards to our budget, and we're going to start that process. And so I invite all of you to please continue to follow not only our social media page, if you can't get to the city page, to follow the council agenda meetings, because we are going to probably have about a couple of them for each week. So there's a lot to get through, but as the focus for this group is economic recovery and how we could sustain the budget for our city, I would kindly ask that if you could please be in attendance, or at least look at the items. And if you have any comments, please email the council members if you can't be in attendance. It's really, really important for for your engagement, as this directly impacts this particular group. So with that, thank you so much for the time, Chair.
Thank you.
And happy birthday, Councilmember Dominguez.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
that was definitely an announcement.
I am starting a new decade, and I apologize I can't be with you guys in video, as I'm just working on honestly having lunch with my mom at the same time. So
Wow.
I definitely want to try to just express my appreciation to all of you, Chair, all of you for your friendships, and really you have all made such an impact in my life. So thank you for that shout out. I appreciate it.
Awesome, thank you. And then now announcements from city staff.
Thank you, Chair Norwood. Well, first and foremost, happy birthday, Councilmember Dominguez. Hope you're having a good day. Secondly, this will be a relatively brief meeting, and that we believe will go to about 5 p.m. We were going to make an announcement of the 2021 calendar year highlights, but we're going to bring that into the conversation under the election of officers. And that way, Chair Norwood can kind of walk or combined, we can both walk you through all the accomplishments that we had last year, along with council and the Office of Economic Development. But our only actual announcement will come from Daniel Degu, our Economic Development Coordinator.
Thank you, Director Andrade, and good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, and distinguished commissioners. I am pleased to share with the Commission that the City of Milpitas is now accepting applications to the Milpitas My Plan Career Accelerator program. This free program offers residents ages 18 years and older the opportunity to participate in workshops, assessments, career navigation, and career counseling provided by NovaWorks. Program offerings also includes cohort learning, 21 hours of available training over 3 weeks, and access to 2 hours of one-on-one career advising. Applications will close on February 4th, and to apply, please visit the city's webpage and type in Job Training 2022. And in closing, I want to thank the Office of Economic Development. Would like to thank the City Council and the Economic Development and Trade Commission for your guidance in support for this project. We've really come a long way, and we're looking forward to having a great program this fall and spring. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that very much. And we are now on to business items, and we are at 9B, election of officers. Background: once per year, commissioners will vote to elect the chair and a vice chair of the commission. The chair is responsible for leading the regular meetings of the commission. The chair shall call the meeting to order, state items to be discussed on the agenda, permit all members with the opportunity to be heard, allow for comments from the public, call for a vote when required, and work directly with the staff liaisons to ensure a successful meeting. The vice chair shall also serve in the role of the chair in the absence of the chair. No commissioner shall serve more than 3 years as chair or vice chair of any Milpitas commission. And the recommendation is on that is to elect a chair and a vice chair of the Economic Development and Trade Commission. Cole, if you can help share the process on that, and Alex, if you want to chime in at this time as well, that would be great.
What we'll do is we'll have Nikki share the process, and after that, we can we have 2 or 3 slides of accomplishments for calendar year 2021. We'll go through that relatively briefly. I sent an email last week that had more details, and I hope you had a chance to review that. So I'll go with Nikki now. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll start with a brief overview of the process. So starting with the election of the chair, current Chair Norwood will ask for a call for nominations, and anyone can feel free to nominate a fellow commissioner or themselves for the next year as role of the chair. I will then follow up with the nominee to see if they will accept that nomination. And then I will wait for somebody to put forth a motion to elect that individual to the role of chair, and then we will proceed with the vote. And then we will do that again for the role of vice chair.
It's Nikki, it's not a motion to proceed with a vote of that person. It's just a motion to proceed with a vote for all those who have been nominated.
I believe there will be 2 roll calls done. So 2 motions will be needed. One motion to elect an individual or elect the nominated person to the chair, and then I'll call the roll, and then same thing for the vice chair position.
So if there's 2 people nominated, someone's calling for a vote to only elect one of those 2 people?
That's right. So if there are multiple nominees, then I will call the roll in order of which the motion is made. So if somebody makes a motion to nominate person A, then I will go ahead and call the vote. And if that motion passes, then that person will be chair or vice chair. If it fails, then a second motion will need to be made for the other nominee.
Thank you. And at this time, Alex, do you have anything to add at this point?
If you, Chair Norwood, would like to go through some of these accomplishments, we can do that now, so that we can discuss all of the great work that transpired during 2021. Does that sound okay?
Yeah,
Or do
I
you
think
want
that's, I think, you know what, we can move forward with the call for the nomination.
Okay, that sounds
Okay.
good.
So I'd like to make a call for the nomination for the chair.
Well, I did this last time. I nominate Chris Norwood for our chair. He's done an outstanding job, and I would love for him to continue in that position.
What he said.
Indrajit?
Likewise, I would say Chair Norwood has provided us some pretty good expertise in guiding the meetings, and it would be wonderful if you could continue doing that.
I agree that I think Chair Norwood has done a great job on keeping the meeting on time and the schedule, so I support that.
Thank you. I will, and I will accept that nomination.
Will somebody like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to re-elect Chair Norwood in his position.
I second the motion.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Casey and a second by Indrajit.
Okay, I will call the roll, starting with Chair Norwood,
Yes.
Vice Chair McNeil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mundra,
Oh, can you hear me?
could you repeat that again?
I said yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Dariani,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Fan,
Yes.
and Student Commissioner Wang.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity. I enjoyed this work tremendously, and I look forward to continuing to move things forward as we have done. And I'm hopeful that everyone will continue to find time to be a part of this because there's more great work for us to do.
Congratulations, Chair Norwood.
Appreciate that. At this time, I'd like to call for a nomination for the vice chair.
Likewise, I would say Vice Chair McNeil would be more than desired to be in this position to continue the good work.
I concur with that, and I'll second that idea.
He definitely keeps me on my toes.
So I think that'd be great if our vice chair can continue to provide the services, valuable services for another year. That'd be greatly appreciated.
And Vice Chair McNeil, do you accept the nomination to continue your vice chairship?
Well, I'll have to work with Chair Norwood another year, so I'm thinking about it. Absolutely, it's an honor to serve in this role.
I'd like to make a motion to re-elect Vice Chair Norwood. McNeil.
I make a motion to make Casey McNeil as vice chair of the committee.
So we have the motion by Commissioner Jones and then the second by Commissioner Dariani. Roll call vote.
Great. Starting with Chair Norwood,
Yes.
Vice Chair McNeil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mundra,
Yes.
Commissioner Dariani,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Fan,
Yes.
and Commissioner Wang.
Yes.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Vice Chair McNeil, for willingness to be put up for me for another year. And I do look forward to some of the newer members as we work through this year to pay close attention because your turn is coming sooner than you think. With that said, Alex, if you would like to take the time now to talk about some of the accomplishments that we had for 2021, that would be great. I've just got to step away for just a moment.
That sounds good. Congratulations, Chair Norwood and Vice Chair McNeil for being reelected the second year. What you are going to see on the screen is really accomplishments of not our fiscal year, which runs from July 1 through the end of the next June period. I took a look at just the calendar year, 2021, January through December. And so just want to start by saying it's been wonderful working with the Economic Development and Trade Commission as a team on behalf of the Office of Economic Development, working with Councilmember Dominguez as our liaison. You often can see or hear her out in the community or at the city council meeting, and she brings up the EDTC, learnings, things that are happening. So just know that what you do really, really matters. You're going to see this is going to be a quick look at the accomplishments, but as I mentioned earlier, you do have an email that that kind of dives a little bit deeper. So if we can go on to the next slide, please. So in some way, shape, or form, either directly or indirectly, the commission has been a part of this, either through branding, marketing, promotions, providing us feedback, and of course, the ultimate work that you do is advise the city council on various economic development and community development recommendations. So you can see on the screen, we had many meetings through the Economic Development and Trade Commission. We continue to improve and implement our economic development strategy. So there's been a myriad of successful implementation actions in that regard. Our hotel and travel industry advocacy continues to move forward. Last January, just about a year ago, we released a report called Surviving the Pandemic and Building Resilient Hotel and Travel Industries in Silicon Valley, which was really a guide for local government and industry leaders. There was a Reconnecting Silicon Valley task force that developed from that. Our Reconnecting Silicon Valley newsletter came out in December of last year. And then that every hotel will be receiving a $10,000 grant through Arpa funds. So thanks to the council for that. We launched our pilot storefront improvement grant program. We also launched the International Trade and Commerce program, where this past year we hosted 4 different webinars with our partner Mission College, very well received, and many of you participated and really added value to the conversation. We started a benefits of employment lens to ensure that the community and the city council and staff has data that truly provides evidence that we need to preserve and protect our employment lands, because it provides value in revenue generation and workforce development opportunities. So that's incredibly important for us. Moving on to the Innovation District and the Milpitas Metro Specific Plan, you all have heard that we have these great plans long-term to develop a job cluster around the transit center that we're calling an Innovation District. We've had over 100 business assistance requests due to COVID-19 alone. That is just that. We have other interaction with our businesses, but specifically to COVID-19, we had over 130, and we continue to help our business community and real estate developers and brokers through our application assistance. So next slide, please. So moving on to workforce. This has always been important under economic development, but has been exacerbated even more so during the pandemic. We're going on 2 years of a pandemic, and our economy took a hit in many different ways. Our unemployment rate increased to almost 13% in April of 2020, and we're now somewhere below sub 5%. So we're going in the right direction, but just know that you played a pivotal role in workforce development, starting with the workforce recovery work that we are doing with Noble Works. It's going to result, as you know, in a program called My Plan that's going to provide career assessment, career counseling, and getting people those necessary skills to land good quality paying jobs locally. We hosted our 5th annual Manufacturing Day, which continues to grow. We have had over 250 participants. We also had a memorandum of understanding, an MOU that the City Council approved, which is by and between the city and our school district, MUSD, to ensure that we're partnering on various workforce development and education events, including Manufacturing Day, the MUSD Alliance Partners, and then, of course, the fundraising campaign for Innovation Campus. And then just a few weeks ago, we were a part of the Element Hotel Job Fair, and it was a couple days at City Hall. There were roughly 21 people that participated. 5 of those people were offered jobs, and ultimately 3 were actually hired. So we think that was a success. Next slide, please. So moving on to communications, you've heard us talk about constant contact messages. We have, since the beginning of the pandemic, we have issued almost 100 constant contact messages. But last year, specifically, we issued 47 constant contact messages. This is information. It's business resources, workforce development, employer information, anything that the city can provide that ensures that our community, our business community, is better aware and informed how to move forward with business resiliency and recovery. Speaking of providing information, we have hosted at least 7 webinars, and we continue to share information. You see economic development coordinator here on the screen, Daniel Daegu. He provided a presentation to the crew, which is the commercial real estate women's group for Silicon Valley. So we're always out making sure that we're being regional leaders in that regard. Next slide, please. So here we are, business recovery. Well, we already talked about constant contact messages. We had a very successful spotlight, which is a shop local campaign, excuse me, of which, we had $15,000 set aside specifically for 15 businesses to be nominated and go into a lottery to receive 90-second promotional pieces. And so we have 15 local businesses that have done that. It's on our website, and each business has their own link that they provide on their website that has less city logos on it so that they could put it on their website. And then, of course, the American Rescue Plan. That is something I'm incredibly proud of our city council. They've been so bold in making sure that money is going out to the community. We, as an economic development office, we're engaged in various components to that. There's a $1.5 million small business assistance grant program. The application is going to go live in the next couple of weeks. We're working on a flyer that should probably go live tomorrow or maybe on Saturday to just keep people informed. There was also a press release that was issued recently. The hotel's assistance is a $1,000 grant to 20 hotels, totaling $200,000. Main Street revitalization, there's various components that the city is engaged in. We are going to be engaged in enhancing our storefront improvement grant program. We are looking at partnering with the Chamber on various events and activities. It's a $200,000 grant to the Chamber. There's $300,000 that will go to our community through workforce development. And of course, that we were able to hire Eddie Trong, our economic development specialist. He will be giving you an update on all ARPA related information. With that, I'm incredibly proud of the collaboration that we've had with the City Council, with you all, and we look forward to a very successful 2022 year. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand it back to Chair Norwood.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for sharing the tremendous effort that the Economic Development and Trade Commission took place in, and then also your ability to pivot and support City Council on a variety of needs that weren't necessarily considered in the traditional scope of economic development and trade, but these are different times, and we all need to be able to get in where we fit in and do the best job that we can. And thank you, Commission, for recognizing that and not pushing back into a way of saying that, we need to stay focused in this area, all hands on deck wherever we needed to be at this time and get things moving. And also thank you for your support, Councilmember Dominguez, and all the initiatives that you brought to Economic Development and Trade Commission. Believing in Alex and Daniel and Nicole and the team for the things that they made happen. So thank you very much for that as well.
Thank you, Chair.
We are on to item B. That's the American Rescue Plan Act update.
Thank you once again, Alex Andrade, Director of Economic Development, back here again. We're now going to get into the American Rescue Plan Act. And wanted to spend a minute on the background here. The city of Milpitas will be receiving a total of $16.7 million of American Rescue Plan Act dollars, ARPA. We've received approximately $8.3 million under the first tranche. The next tranche will be the remaining dollars associated with almost $17 million, as I indicated. The city is expecting that second tranche sometime in May or June of this year. And so just want to start by again indicating and really reiterating how proud we are of the city council and how bold their vision has been to ensure that these ARPA dollars are going out to the community. So today we're going to give you an update on what is known as the ARPA Economic Vitality Investment Framework for businesses in particular and residents to aid in economic recovery. So it's the small business grant program, as I mentioned, $1.5 million, the assistance to the hotels at $200,000, Main Street revitalization, which is, we're still kind of figuring it out. It's $500,000 total, but that's for various components of Main Street revitalization. As it relates to storefront improvements, that dollar amount will be discussed at a future city council meeting. You won't hear today about an update related to the Chamber of Commerce, but I do hope to get in front of President Warren Wettenstein of the Chamber of Commerce tomorrow to talk about a plan along with performance metrics associated with the dollars. We'll talk briefly about $300,000 set aside for workforce development. And then of course, you know that Eddie's with us as our economic development specialist. So yeah, today's update will be specifically on the Small Business Assistance Grant Program, the assistance to hotels, and workforce development. So with that, I'm just going to say once again, thank you to the leadership at EDTC, as well as the City Council, for ensuring that our residents and businesses really are the true beneficiaries or benefactors of these federal funds. So I'm now going to hand it over to Eddie Trom, our economic development specialist. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Alex, before you hand it over, you had mentioned that you're going to put in place some metrics for the funding that was approved for the Chamber of Commerce. How will those metrics come about? Or are there existing templates, for example, when cities work with chambers of commerce in terms of how they validate the value of that relationship or that investment? Is that internal discussion that you guys have had about what you guys want to see the Chamber of Commerce be able to do to support your efforts? Could you share a little bit on that, please?
I can, yes. So collaboratively, staff has had conversations with the Chamber of Commerce on specifically 4 items. It has to do with an art and wine festival, which many of our council members are very interested in implementing along Main Street, as well as assisting or providing funding for a crab feed, which has been one of the Chamber's more successful fundraising events. And then there's 2 other items. The Chamber of Commerce has indicated to the City Council that they would host a job fair, that they would have hosted that in September of 2021. And then the other item has to do with business resources that has various webinars and access to tools that Google, Facebook, and LinkedIn have. And so the city manager's office, as well as the Office of Economic Development, in concert with the City Council, we're asking that the Chamber of Commerce develop a plan and that performance metrics and or milestones be associated with each one of those items, and then funding would be deployed or dispersed based on those metrics and milestones. And so part of that also includes funding that would go toward a event planner or someone that's going to help the chamber move along. It's $200,000. Initially, the conversation was a $200,000 total at $100,000 per year. But we recognize that the Chamber of Commerce needs assistance and financial assistance in particular. So we would like to have a conversation with them and develop a plan that we ensure moves them along successfully and they achieve their overall objectives and goals to help our business community through business resiliency and recovery.
Alex, I have a follow-up question. On this Main Street revitalization, do we have any more details what we're planning to do?
Well, we overall, like I said earlier, the $500,000 is broader. There's various components that include events. What we're trying to do from a city and our city council is create a place. We want to create a destination. So it's about placemaking. We recognize that Main Street has historical value, and people tend to traverse through Main Street, but not always stop. We want them to stop, to eat, to dine, to have a drink, to have fun, be educated, recreate, all sorts of things. Well, we want to create a downtown. So it includes music, art, the storefront improvement program that we're discussing, and various other items that at this point aren't coming to mind. But it's all about making sure that we develop a downtown. One thing that we're going to be talking about just a little while from now today is a business improvement district idea. And the city council specifically directed us to have this conversation with you all today. So if you're interested, we could go back to the city council, perhaps ask for additional dollars for a consultant to develop a business improvement district. That business improvement district could result in a steering committee or a downtown business association to get these business owners and property owners together to develop a strong, viable place that people are proud of and enjoy, being at and having a good time.
So, in other words, we don't have any concrete plan. We have a concept at this time. So
what I could do is I could provide you, I provided you information related to the Office of Economic Development. There's more to it, and I can provide you all an email under Main Street Revitalization with all those details.
That'd be greatly appreciated.
What I can do as well, while Eddie gives his presentation, I'll go online and get more information. It's in our agenda report. I just need to look at it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would definitely be interested in the business investment district. I was involved in the initiation of the one for San Jose some years ago. So I would definitely like to do something like that.
Commissioner Jones, that's great, because we're going to have that conversation in just a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're ready for Eddie now.
Thank you, Chair Norwood. I just want to say very quickly, I just want to reiterate Alex's comments about how inspired I am and how I wake up every day just excited to work on Milpitas projects as it relates to Arpa. The work that the City Council has done is just simply impressive to really prioritize these funding dollars to really aid recovery and our community benefits. I just want to say that given the time constraints that we have ending at 5 o'clock, I may not be able to get into as much detail as I would like, but staff will make ourselves available to answer any questions that commissioners may have after this meeting as well, in addition to the Q&A. The first update I wanted to share with you is on the Arpa Small Business Assistance Program. By way of background, on August 9th of last year, the City Council approved $1.5 million to award $5,000 grants to small businesses that have experienced negative economic impacts due to COVID-19. In addition, the city has selected a fiscal agent, which is responsible to administer the grants, provide technical assistance, and to conduct business outreach. This fiscal agent will offload many of the administrative burdens from staff in order to reach as many businesses as possible to get the grant. We recently announced that the fiscal agent is Life Stories. Life Stories was selected through a competitive RFP process, which is a requirement of the federal dollars that we've used to make sure that we had a fair and competitive bid process. The fiscal agent is in the middle of developing a web portal, which is known as the Forward platform to accept these grant applications. Our goal is to work on this portal as quickly as possible, understanding that small businesses need the financial relief sooner rather than later. This system will be awarded through, the grants will be awarded through a lottery system so that the process is fair and transparent. In addition, I want to report that the City Council on January 11th has made certain changes to this program that the Commission should be aware of. First, the City Council has prioritized childcare and daycare businesses, both home-based and commercial businesses, for this grant funding. In addition, yoga and fitness studios will also be prioritized for this grant funding. The third group will be past applicants of the 2020 Micro Enterprise Grant Program, but these applicants did not receive grant awards from the first round of funding the first time around. And so these three categories of businesses will then skip the lottery process if they apply and are eligible in order to receive the $5,000 grant per business. The second program I want to bring to your attention is the Hotels Assistance Program under Arpa. Late last year in December, we launched the Arpa Hotels Assistance Program and began accepting applications. Staff conducted around 3 rounds of outreach to the hotels to collect information from the general managers and to make sure that they were aware of these $10,000 grant opportunities. Based on the funding that the City Council has allocated, the 20 existing hotels within the City of Milpitas will each receive $10,000 grants, so long as they justify that the funding is used to make the hotels COVID-19 safe and are actively responding to the public health emergency. At the January 11th meeting that I referenced earlier, the City Council broadened the use of these funding to also include operational expenses and other staffing expenses, so long as they can justify that they are responding to the public health emergency. And what does that really mean? Some hotels were one of the first places to house first responders and the homeless early during the pandemic. And so we can all recognize that the entire industry has done their part to help respond to the crisis at hand. And so in order for staff to achieve our federal reporting numbers, we just want to make sure that we clearly explain and justify how the funds are used to respond to COVID-19. I mentioned earlier that we outreached to all 20 hotels. As of today, 10 hotels have submitted applications for this grant funding. 3 hotels have started and saved drafts, but they have not yet formally submitted. And 7 hotels have yet to submit applications. Staff is hoping that with the broadened use of operational expenses for the grant funding, that this would encourage more hotels to then apply for this grant funding as well. And staff also acknowledges that when we did our first round of outreach, it was right in the middle of the Christmas and New Year's holiday season, which I know Commissioner Jones knows that's a very busy time for the hospitality industry. Staff, we would like to also give a shout out to the IT department for really building the Arpa web portal in-house and made it user-friendly for the grant beneficiaries. The second shout out we also want to give is to the Reconnecting Silicon Valley Task Force. This task force was simply instrumental in hotel advocacy. And I know that Alex has been working very closely as the lead from the City of Milpitas, as well as the City of Campbell, and other stakeholders to make sure that, that this program exists in the first place to help aid recovery for our local hotels. The third program for this update today is on Arpa workforce development. There were 2 City Council meetings last year that were directly relevant to this conversation. First was on November 2nd, where staff presented various categories for the city to invest funding. And we received feedback from the City Council to really prioritize any workforce programming for at-risk low-income youth and adults, green, clean, and sustainable jobs, and to support a childcare workforce. And additionally, the motion included some information for us to research and to partner with the unhoused population on community beautification and workforce programming. At the December 14th City Council meeting, the City Council approved the first tranche of funding of $150,000 for the following nonprofit beneficiaries. $40,000 was granted to Milpitas Youth Force to run a very successful program and to restore the hourly wage for the high school participants that was lost during the pandemic. And staff is working directly with the Department of Recreation and Community Services to recruit more private sector work sites to provide work experience opportunities for the youth. Second, the $50,000 grant was given to Evergreen Valley College for the Amazon Cloud Practitioner Program. This will help Milpitas residents, particularly low-income Milpitas residents, to get credentialed by an industry-recognized certification in the cloud computing technology space. $40,000 was granted to First 5 Santa Clara County for a pilot early learning teacher apprenticeship program. This will support low-income Milpitas residents to obtain an associate teacher's permit and to enter the childcare workforce. $10,000 was given to Rising Sun Center for Opportunity to launch a pilot climate careers externship program. What's also exciting about this investment is that Rising Sun would also bring a highly successful program that is significantly funded by the California Public Utilities Commission, the CPUC, which is known as their Youth Climate Careers Program. Also, the last amount of funding is $10,000 for a nonprofit called Build It Green for their Certified Green Building Professional Training Program, which helps contractors update their skills for more clean and green construction concepts and energy efficient buildings. By the summer of this year, staff will return to the City Council to provide a programmatic updates on these ARPA beneficiaries and some of the metrics that are associated with the funding. We will also return to the City Council with the next round of $150,000 to fund other nonprofit partners to achieve workforce programming goals. I want to note that at the last City Council meeting, council members expressed an interest once again on finding workforce programming for the unhoused population. Also, Council Member Dominguez brought up mature adults or senior adults that are 50 years and older, for them to also get access to workforce programming activities and to participate into the regional economy. So in terms of next, yes, Chair Norwood.
A quick question. Where do, obviously I know the Parks and Rec program, Milpitas Youth Force, because it's in Milpitas. Where do the other organizations physically reside? Because, you know, I heard several mentions of a requirement or to targeting Milpitas homeless population or Milpitas low-income residents. I just want to know where the other awardees reside as far as in this just in general, or where they, yeah, where would the recipients go to participate in this program?
That's a great question, Chair Norwood. I will say that for Evergreen Valley College, they have physical campuses that are in San Jose, and they also have a satellite campus in the city of Milpitas as well. I can't recall for the other nonprofits about their locations, but one of the things that Alex and I worked on was to really prioritize the funding to benefit Milpitas residents, particularly their low income. And so we have offered partnership opportunities to create training programs, whether it is through the Milpitas Senior Center or some other way that we can allow us to reach Milpitas residents in an efficient way. And so we did not necessarily choose nonprofits that physically resided necessarily within the city of Milpitas, but the requirement in the grant funding is that they should benefit Milpitas residents.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate the fact that you are looking at, I know San Jose City has an extension campus in Milpitas, and it's part of the San Jose City Evergreen College School District. So I appreciate the fact that you're looking at how these programs could possibly be housed somewhere in Milpitas, because you talk about a barrier. You fund an agency, but now the Milpitas residents have to travel to San Jose to get that location, and they may not have transportation if we're talking about these particular demographics. If there's an interest in terms of some of these programs wanting to figure out where they can reside in Milpitas, I think that would be very, very helpful, and I think City Council will appreciate that as well.
That's helpful, Chair Norwood. I just want to say that for some of these programs, while we do not necessarily know all the program details, staff and the City Council did account for some flexibility in the funding to make sure that we can help Milpitas residents achieve or attend these workforce programs, because it is an equity question as well. So for example, I'll just point out First 5 Santa Clara County. We don't yet know where exactly the course is going to be. And because First 5 hasn't reached that countywide, but there is funding that can be linked to in the $40,000 bucket to do, for example, wraparound services for transportation assistance or other activities to make it easier for a lower income Milpitas residents to actually participate in the training program. And so your feedback is very much appreciated and noted. I think that equity lens will be very important to our work to make sure that we maximize our impact.
Thank you.
So in terms of the next steps, and then at the end of this, there will be Q&A for other questions from commissioners. As for this Arpa Small Business Assistance Grant Program, Alex had already mentioned that we have distributed a press release to announce the program and to announce Life Stories as the fiscal agent. We are in the middle of finalizing the Forward software platform, which is the web portal and website for small businesses to apply. We have set very aggressive internal goals to try to launch this as quickly as possible. And once the application is formally launched, we're going to open it for a 30-day period and do extensive business engagement. I know that Daniel and Alex have given me a list of community-based organizations and other groups that I should be presenting to bring attention to this great opportunity for our local small businesses. In addition, we're going to lean on the Economic Development and Trade Commission to give your advice on what are other groups that we should be reaching out to make sure that this program and opportunity is known far and wide. As for the Hotels Assistance Program, we are going to continue to do outreach to make sure that all 20 hotels submit applications and benefit from this funding that the City Council has allocated, and to disperse funding. For workforce development, we will continue to work with the nonprofit beneficiaries noted in the past slide to disperse the funds and to engage in their programming to make sure that we are optimizing benefits for our Milpitas residents. And with that, the recommendation for this presentation is number 1, to receive staff report. And number 2 is to welcome feedback from the commissioners on this Arpa Economic Vitality Framework and to give us feedback on program implementation. And that concludes my presentation.
At this time, I'd like to open up questions to commissioners, and thank you, Eddie, for, is this your first presentation to, I can't recall, is this your first presentation to the Economic Development Trade Commission?
Yes, it is, Chair.
So I'll give you a head. Sometimes when the moment hits us, it'll hit us. And at the end, it'll be gone. So just FYI. Any comments from any of the commissioners?
I would compliment Eddie for a wonderful presentation. Good job.
Thank you. Okay.
Chair Norwood?
Yes.
I just wanted to respond to Commissioner Dayani's question from earlier as it relates to Main Street revitalization. I don't have all of the information, but I did find some documentation that talks about Main Street revitalization. Think of it as an umbrella. It's incredibly important for the City Council, so much so that the City Council has developed or created a Main Street revitalization subcommittee, which is chaired by our Vice Mayor Montano, and the other council member on the subcommittee is Councilmember Chua. So the dollars are going to go toward events, various types of events, including Holiday Magic, which happened in December, and I hope you and the community had an opportunity to go visit, participate. It was an amazing event and very successful. Things like streetscape improvements. You probably, if you were there on North Main Street, you saw some of the street banners, the new banners on the sidewalk. They look beautiful. Signage, landscaping. We talked earlier about the Storefront Improvement Grant Program, community engagement. So it's kind of an umbrella under Main Street revitalization to ensure that we truly develop a downtown that people are proud of.
Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
At this time, I need to turn the meeting over to Vice Chair McNeil. I have an engagement that I have to attend.
Thank you, Chair. I believe there's a question from from Commissioner Mundra.
I just had a comment on Eddie's presentation. I think one of the key parts is this is a pretty complex presentation because it covers many facets of the economy. And I think I look forward to some of the future results and the impact it will have. And I think it's pretty far reaching. So thank you for all that.
Commissioner Mundra, you are breaking up. We can't hear you.
Oh. Let's see. How about that? Is that
a little bit better?
Okay.
A little bit.
So I was just saying that overall, Eddie's presentation was multifaceted and it's pretty hard to comprehend here. Just looking at these numbers and everything, what impact it's going to have. But it looks like it's going to be pretty pervasive, and we thank you for that work.
Thank you. I see a hand raised from, let's see. I do not see any more hands raised. Are there any other questions?
Yes, Councilmember Dominguez has her virtual hand up.
I saw that, but then it went away.
I'm so sorry. I accidentally pushed it. Thank you so much, though, for recognizing the hand. I appreciate it.
All right, I believe before we open for motion to receive, are there any public comments? Nikki?
Vice Chair McNeil, there are no raised hands for public comment.
I did see Commissioner Jones with his hand up.
Oh,
I actually was going to comment to see if there were any public comments. Thank you.
Oh. All right. Is there a motion to receive?
Make the motion to receive.
Is there a second? I believe Commissioner Dariani, you had your hand raised.
Yeah, I second it.
Okay. All right, roll call, please.
Okay, great. Starting with Acting Chair McNeil.
Yes.
Commissioner Mundra.
Yes.
Commissioner Dariani.
Yes.
Commissioner Jones.
Yes.
Commissioner Fan.
Yes.
And Commissioner Wang.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, our next on the agenda is item number 9D. This is the introduction to Main Street Business Improvement District. Alex?
Thank you, Acting Chair McNeil. I just want to ensure that people on the commission are still available. We did indicate that we were going to go till 5 o'clock. We recognize that various commissioners have some scheduling conflicts. So do you still have time to continue? We'll need a quorum to continue. I hope that we can.
How much longer do you anticipate, Alex?
So we have Commissioner Mundra's presentation that will come after the Business Improvement District. We can do this pretty quickly in 5 minutes, or we can decide to bring it back if you'd like.
I think maybe you can bring it back because I have to break away also around 5:15, 5:20.
Okay. Can we then, oh, I see Commissioner Jones' hand.
I was just going to ask maybe if you could cover it 5 minutes and then we bring it back for further discussion. So at least we're all centered as to what it is. I don't know if the last item will take 10 minutes or not.
That works for us. Commissioner Mundra, does that work for you after us?
Yeah, I think probably with, if there's any questions, that might take longer than 10 minutes.
Okay, then I yield to the group. Sorry.
Why don't we do this since Commissioner Mundra may take more than 10 minutes. I would prefer to table the Main Street agenda item for our next meeting so that we can give Commissioner Mundra his time, if that would be acceptable. I would need a motion to table it, though.
I make a motion to table it.
Your second.
I second.
Just to, just to clarify, you're tabling as in regards to moving it to the next meeting in February, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, just for the record.
Thank you. May I go ahead and call the roll?
Yes, please.
Starting with Acting Chair McNeil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mundra.
Which item were we tabling?
We
It's the
are
Main
at
Street.
the Main Street
Main Street.
item.
Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Dariani,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Fan,
Yes.
and Commissioner Wang.
Yes.
Thank you.
So it's tabled. Do we need to open it up for public comments?
There are no raised hands for public comment.
All right, we will now go to item 9A, which is the Milpitas Chamber of Commerce update. And I believe we have a very special speaker on this, Mr. Munda.
Thank you. I think, do we need to add Mr. Wettenstein?
Oh, yes, I will promote him.
Thank you.
And in the meantime, I'll share my screen for your presentation.
Thank you.
Hi there. Can you guys hear me? If not, see me?
Yes, we hear you.
So would you like to say a few words, Warren, before we get into
Well, I did head up the Economic Development Commission, and I was head and then vice chair when it was Economic Development before it became Economic Development and Trade. We work closely with Alex and Alex's team. It's, if you guys have not checked out the chamber recently, we've done a lot, we're going to give you an update on what's going on, but the new chamber is not the same as the old chamber. We're doing a whole bunch of things. I became president just before the crab feed, March of almost like 2 years ago. So we've been working diligently to help members and non-members. Some of the stuff is in the presentation, but we've been working really hard to help the 200 plus restaurants and the other businesses in Milpitas survive or help to survive. We've been working with, besides Alex at the city, we've been working with Dennis King and Ali Lopez at the Economic Development and Trade Commission, along with Chris at the state level. We've been working diligently. We created a discovermilpitas.com website where any business, whether they're a chamber member or not, has the ability to put their information in and get some exposure. On this presentation, you're going to see some more stuff, but the important thing is we are diligently working at helping everybody through this crisis. We appreciate that the city of Milpitas recognizes that. And probably for the first time in the chamber's history, we actually got a grant. It's a one-time grant in order to help jumpstart the community, the business community, and keep things going and help local residents and also local businesses connect for jobs. Alex already talked to you about that there was a job fair for one hotel. We're looking at doing more stuff, and this presentation will elaborate on that. And I'll stop talking so we can do the presentation, be available for Q&A. Interjet, take over.
Thank you, Warren. And just to add to that, so in the recent months, this has been teamwork with the council and with economic development. There's been a lot of support given to the chamber to do things so we can show some accomplishments for the Milpitas businesses and the community. So let's go to the next slide. So, the chamber is here to bring businesses in the community together to create, and promote opportunities and get economic vitality. And, we've been painting a picture where it's great to do business from Milpitas so we can transform the businesses here for more success. And of course, as Warren mentioned, we do free advertising on Discover Milpitas. And we're creating platforms to assist incoming businesses as we move forward out of the pandemic. And of course, we do the continuous promotion of all the businesses here. Next. So what we do recognize is, Milpitas really has all the resources and the potential to accommodate many more businesses. So, the environment is changing because of pandemic, but even though it's a negative impact, what are we using to our benefit? So that's where we stand is we got to look forward and create more opportunity for the businesses and bring businesses in. And unfortunately, the last 2 weeks clearly impacted the calendar that we had, but we're not stopped. So what was really impacted is we wanted to do a job fair last month and do workshops starting this month, do all the other in-person events. So moving forward, we will get there. And there is still it penciled in, it's a plan, and we'll get to do them. And as far as industry goes, there is a lack of resources everywhere. And we are putting plans in place to motivate the workforce to come and get the job. And that's part of the job fair. Next. So the planned activity is, as Alex mentioned earlier, which is the job fair. There was a crab feed, spaghetti feed that was supposed to be in March. And this year being a political year, we need to add a candidates forum where even though the chamber is apolitical, we can still let the candidates come and get a chance to talk to the public. And of course, I'll describe the new focus on what to do with the Art and Wine Festival, which some people really want to move it to become an Oktoberfest. And then there's many business workshops because we see new businesses coming in pretty rapidly after the pandemic clears. And the chamber needs to address that, help things get done for the new businesses, guide them through all the process through the city, whatever it is to help them to get their feet down in Milpitas. And of course, we're doing our own outreach program, which I'll get into some details. So we want to involve all the local businesses. We provide direct advertising through e-blast. And with the mixers, we give opportunities for the businesses to do, live advertising and, talk directly to potentially other business owners and the public.
Interjet, I'd like to also add on here that the public or any of the commissioners, if they want to receive our Monday e-blast, which goes to over 3,000 opt-in people, just send a quick email to info@milpitaschamber.com. And you'll get on the hot topics list. If you are a chamber member, you can run a display ad for just $25 an issue. Next slide.
Thank you. Next. So with the job fair, the last hard date we had set was January the 27th. And so that got pushed out. And so what we want to do is put the technology together for doing virtual job fairs. And essentially, we are not going to be doing high level, hiring assistants, like to Google or, Apple or anybody. We're basically doing all this to get blue collar jobs filled. And so we will be, the technology that's going to be set up is to introduce the businesses with videos and, put them in touch with live recruiters. And so whoever's interested in a job will come to the virtual meeting, be shown all these 1-minute videos made by all of the businesses. And then they can go to the breakout room to what their interest is. And part of that introduction is there'll be some guidance by some kind of counseling on, hey, you're here for a job and, here's what to do. And so we're getting support from MUSD, getting volunteers from there to help implement the process. This morning, I had a meeting with 6 interns from UC Santa Cruz. So things are moving, and we'll be implementing the technology in the next few weeks. And part of that would be, for example, to get the mayor and the council and the staff to talk about how Milpitas is great, maybe a 30-second or a 1-minute clip that will be shown before, the job placement part starts. And so the students will be out there making videos of businesses, like Flex, Casey, I'm sure you're ready. Amazon and DevCon, West Rock, Great Mall, everybody who's available. And so that'll be shown, but essentially the focus is still on small businesses, and all of their videos will be shown in addition to this. And so there'll be some screening and vetting to prep the job seekers, as I mentioned earlier. And then we're going to keep statistics and everything, and hopefully we can start this in February. And we would like to do this every 2 months. And then in between now and the near future is if things clear up, we will definitely be doing an in-person job fair at the community center.
And also one of the reasons that we're focusing on blue collar jobs rather than white collar jobs is we're finding that there's a need in the hospitality industry, restaurants, hotels, et cetera, where the employers are looking for employees. What we're seeing in white collar may be running out to Indeed or something along those lines. The blue collars where we see a gap right now and a need for matchmaking. Next slide.
Next. Okay. So originally the crab feed was intended to be March 19th. We might still be able to do it. We see there were some issues with handling the crab meat and thus being resolved. And we hope, with declining, infection numbers in the near future, in the next couple of weeks, that we can put a hard date on that. And then, since this is an election year, we would like to welcome and introduce the political candidates. Sorry about the misspelling. And we would like to enable them to have debates and so on. We've done that in the past. And so when we do the open air festival and stuff, we'd probably like to set up a pulpit there so they can have some fun directly with the public. And so that work will start around about May. Next.
Well, if I can go back on the candidates forum, the chamber has been doing this basically every 2 years, for a long time. And the concept on that is it's basically debates for the city council. And last time we did city council seats as one debate. We worked with Milpitas Beat, and I believe that one was for the MUSD, for the Milpitas Unified School District. Chris could probably clarify that for me if he was here. And then we had a third round. Next slide.
Thank you. So we had a very interesting conversation in the last couple of months, trying to get the Art and Wine Festival done in roughly about May timeframe, May, June. And so as things changed, we decided to make it some kind of an Oktoberfest right before the November elections. And then there was some great interest shown by everybody that, hey, why don't we make it multicultural? We have all those people available where they can be given a stage, and that would look pretty awesome. So we could cover a lot of cultures. And so that would be much more enjoyable. And then if you have multicultural foods and drinks, of course, that becomes an event to remember. And within the festival, we would also put a pulpit there where candidates can, select to take half an hour and talk to the public passing by. And so that target is about September, October timeframe. Okay.
And we're working with it, Alex, and the goal is to have a Main Street venue, right, Alex?
Thank you. The city council is setting aside dollars for the Art and Wine Festival for, yes, Main Street revitalization. So we can talk offline about when and where and what this becomes, but yes, the location would be Main Street.
Okay.
And then how much longer do we anticipate to close out this presentation?
I think one more slide, we're done.
Okay.
Yeah. And then so we're doing virtual workshops at least quarterly. The next one is February the 16th with SBDC. And so that'll be ongoing, so we can help new businesses to come in and establish themselves in Milpitas. Next. And then this outreach program is basically we'll have 3 different teams. They will be connecting with the current chamber members to thank them for being in Milpitas and having a successful business. And then there'll be other businesses that are not chamber members who will be contacted, and they will be welcomed to Milpitas. And so we want to shape an image that is very favorable for the city of Milpitas. And of course, along with that, we'll be keeping statistics, and we may show them on the Milpitas Chamber website. There's some kind of a monthly summary. So I think that's it. Next, it should be the last slide. Yes. So we want everybody to enjoy Milpitas. So,
thank you very much. I do have a question going back to your job outreach, and
yes,
I think we've had some job fairs where there were not a lot of potential applicants, and so my question is, are you reaching out to other areas, such as people who are connected by the new BART station, to try to recruit others?
So we are not limited to the 9 square miles. Yes, that's very important. And when we do talk to those potential interested potential applicants, they'll be vetted and they'll be sort of prepared when they come to that particular virtual meeting.
Part of this is we have to overcome what everybody the big elephant in the room, if people are, not talking about it, but there's been a reluctance. People are in the big quit right now. People are so used to working from home or getting paid to not work that getting them to jumpstart to want to work is something that everybody needs to be working on. And that's, whether we do a virtual or an in-person job fair or whatever, we need to get people who are motivated to actually work. So we can, without getting anecdotal, right now, there are a lot of employers with open job positions, and they have difficulty filling them. at all levels, you know. Okay.
So,
All right, I'd like to open up for questions for other commissioners.
thank you.
Not seeing any hands raised.
Yeah. So just to add to that, we've been talking to a lot of the HR managers and getting some pretty good input on how to treat the applicants or potential applicants differently and how to make the experience more pleasurable and more accommodating for them to show interest in, coming and working for that particular company.
And I think that's it for us.
Thank you.
Any questions from any of our commissioners?
No.
Okay. Nikki, is there any questions from the public?
No raised hands for public comment.
I did put in the chat the link for if people want to get the hot topics. I put the email address in the chat, and feel free to, there's no obligation. You can go ahead and just ping CJ info@milpitaschamber.com. Okay. Thank you guys for the opportunity on this. We're all on the parallel goal of attracting and retaining businesses in Milpitas. And we've been working really closely with Alex and his team and SBDC, and it's, the goal is for us to all get through this. Thank you.
This has been pretty awesome teamwork for the last several months.
Oh, it's been super for 2 years. Yeah.
Everyone knows that Milpitas Chamber of Commerce has been very vital part of our growth over the many years, and it's important for every community and none so more than Milpitas. So thank you very much to the Milpitas Chamber of Commerce for all that you've done for our city over these many years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to open up is there a motion to receive?
I make a motion to receive.
I would
Second?
second it.
Thank you. All right, may we have a roll call, please?
Okay, starting with Chair McNeil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mundra,
Yes.
Commissioner Dariani,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Fan,
Yes.
and Commissioner Wing.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate the new commissioners to our team, and it's been a pleasure having you guys here. And we look forward to our next meeting, which is scheduled for, when is that, February 12th? February 14th. February 14th.
Okay.
So,
14.
so is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a,
Adjourn.
I second it.
Oh, you guys are quick with that one. All right.
I got a hard break at 5:30, so I need to get up.
Absolutely. Okay. Roll call?
Chair McNeil,
Yes.
Commissioner Mundra,
Yes.
Commissioner Dariani,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Fan,
Yes.
and Commissioner Wing.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, so much. It's been a pleasure, and we look forward to our next meeting. Thanks to everyone, the council members, and the
Thank
city
you.
staff as well. For sure.
Thank you, everybody.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Be safe.